for your Megillah reading pleasure, I present the Adult Ed Committee. Woo! Chapter 1.
Okay. It was in the days of Ahasuerus, which I can't say. This was the Ahasuerus who reigned from Hodu to Cush, even from the Jersey Shore to the Poconos, a total of 127 provinces. At that time, King Ahasuerus established his royal throne in Shushan, the capital of the Persian Empire.
It's good to be the king.
In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a party for all his ministers and servants. The army of Persia and Media and the nobles and ministers of the provinces attended. His purpose was to display the wealth of his great empire and the riches he inherited through his prestigious stature for many days, 180 days in total. After that, the king made a 7-day party in the garden enclosure of the king's palace. For everyone in the capital of Shushan, everyone was treated equally. There were exquisite white cotton and royal blue wool hangings embroidered with cords of fine linen and purple wool, suspended over silver rods and marble pillars. There were gold and silver couches on platforms of green, white, shell, and onyx marble.
Like Oprah's home.
The drinks were served in gold goblets. No 2 goblets were alike. Royal wine was in abundance as befits the hand of the king. The rule for drinking was no restrictions because the king had instructed his officers to fulfill the wishes of each guest. Queen Vashti also made a feast for the women in the royal house of King Ahasuerus.
Let's hear it, women! 1, 2, 3.
Party's over. No, we're still partying in the background.
Okay. On the 7th day, when the king was PUI, that's partying under the influence, from all he had been drinking, he called for his 7 most loyal attendants: Sleepy, Happy, Sneezy, Docked, Bashful, Grumpy, and Dopey. He ordered them to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing almost nothing but her royal crown, to show the nations and the ministers her beauty, for she was indeed very beautiful.
I'm going to refuse. I already refused.
The queen refused to follow the directions of the king as brought to her by the attendants. When told of her refusal, the king grew angry, and his temper burst.
Where's your temper?
The king spoke to his most trusted advisors, those familiar with established precedents, because it was the king's custom to confer with those who knew law and custom. Those closest to him were Groucho, Chico, Harpo, and Zeppo, and Mo, Larry, and Curly. The 7 smartest ministers of Persia and Media, who were allowed in the presence of the king and were the highest-ranking officials in the empire. The question, according to Groucho, was,
What does the law say should be done to Queen Vashti for not obeying the command that King Ahasuerus conveyed to her through the attendants?
When Queen Vashti was disobedient, she hurt not only the king, but also all the ministers of all the nations and all of the provinces of King Ahasuerus' empire.
When the word of the queen's behavior gets out to all the women, they will treat their husbands with less respect, pointing out that even when King Ahasuerus ordered Queen Vashti to come to him, and she did not come.
This very day, the wives of the ministers of Persia and Media, who have heard what Queen Vashti did, will bring up this incident to the ministers of the king, and that will cause a great deal of scandal and quarreling.
If it pleases the king, let him issue a royal edict instead of passing a statute that would have to pass the Senate and could be subject to a filibuster, that a new immutable law be written into the laws of Persia and Media to the effect that Queen Vashti may never again come to King Ahasuerus, and that her royal position will be given to someone else more suitable.
Let the king's decree be posted throughout the entire empire, even though it is very large, and then all the women will respect their husbands. Regardless of their status. We must, however, expect some protest demonstrations from SHO, the Shushan Organization of Women.
The king and his ministers liked this idea. So the king did as his ministers advised. He sent scrolls to all of the king's provinces, each scroll written in the alphabet and language of the province to which it was sent, stating that the man is legally the master of his own home, and that everyone in the household must speak the man's native language.
Thank you.